All right. Good evening, everyone. I am here with Katy Zang from Ohio, Taze Valley, and very special guest. She was the 2025 New Balance Running Lane Cross Country Championships winner. That was a little bit of a mouthful, but Katy, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Katy, one of the reasons, I immediately thought that I wanted to do an interview with you was the raw emotion that you showed when you crossed the finish line. And I know you've probably run the race a million times back through your head and just all the highs in that moment. So just go through kind of the race, your strategy going into it, and kind of how it unfolded, and then really explain those emotions that you experienced there at the end.
Yeah, so I didn't really expect much, especially since I had such a tough season mentally and physically. Um, so I came in ranked 45th, I think. I could be wrong, 45th, 50th, something like that. And so I came in with not really any expectation. For the first part of the race, I didn't know we actually started when the gun went off. So I had a little bit of a false start, but that's okay. So I was just trying to pick people off. I didn't want to start out too fast because I didn't want to burn out. So I didn't really have any goals for the first mile, just get out there, not too fast. But anyways, it started feeling really easy, like weirdly easy in the first mile. So I kind of took it and I went up front. And then during the second mile, I was just trying to stay with the front pack. And then at mile 3, I think was the hill. Um, and so I was kind of scared of the hill because I didn't know there was a hill in the race. So after that, I heard a guy say there was just 1K left after the hill. So I just kind of was like, okay, 1K left. Can't feel anything in my body because I'm already so cold. So might as well just shoot my shot and go for it. And then as I was coming down the line, I was just thinking about every single high school memory that I had and everything that I've worked for had come up to that moment. So I was just saying, just give it your all. It might be painful now, but you'll be so grateful here in just a few seconds. So really what carried me was my faith and my family standing there cheering for me and just everything that I'd overcome that season and in past seasons.
That's awesome. And so talk a little bit about some of the things, some of the obstacles you've overcome to get here, because you mentioned that you were seated outside of the top 40, and I know that times don't necessarily matter in cross country, but if you just look on your mile split profile, you've kind of had an up and down year this year, especially compared to what you were running last year, and I'm sure some of those were on similar courses. So kind of talk about some of those, setbacks that you had, and how you handled that, and persevered and pushed through.
Yeah, so last year I was running sub 17 or around 17 flat for every single race. I didn't go above a 17, 18 at all last year. And so that was really like a high for me. And then at regionals, I had a stress fracture that was developing and it kind of got me at regionals. So I was not able to finish that race. I was supposed to win state. So that really set me back. And after the stress fracture, it was just so hard getting back into things, especially since I missed out on so much training. All these other Ohio girls had 6 months of training on me. So I got back in for outdoor track season, and then I struggled with IT band syndrome every track season. So that sent me out of running for a while too. So I was just cross training for basically 8 months straight. So I didn't have a lot of training under my belt from this year. And coming back this year, my first race was on the course that I got my stress fracture on. So I had a lot of bad memories come up from that, a lot of anxiety, and knowing that I was supposed to be number one coming back. So it was just a lot of pressure and really hard. And after I got second in my first race, I was really down on myself. So I was struggling with a lot of anxiety and everything. And then I got bronchitis, which sent me out
Oh
for a
man.
little longer. And so, yeah, it was just a lot of ups and downs this season, but finally it kind of guided me at the end, except at the state meet. Not sure what happened there, but I passed out at the state meet. I don't know how or why, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes some, weird things like that where you have a, freak race or event where you pass out, sometimes those things are kind of unexplained. Um, but going back to your win at RXC, you said, into the first mile you felt, bizarrely comfortable, like it felt easy. And as the race director, co-race director there, I was watching the girls race as I watched all of them, but I noticed that, nobody was really kind of pushing the effort early on in that girls race. And but even, as you went through the race, you said it just felt kind of easy. And I wonder, we've all had those races as runners where you finish the race and you're like, man, that was easy. Like, what was it about it that was so easy? And you can't really describe it, because it doesn't happen every race, unfortunately, right? Or we'd run a PR and feel great all the time. But I found it interesting that, you got to the top of the hill, and as many didn't know, yes, there is a hill, right? But you heard a spectator or a coach say 1,000 to go. And that's what I tell all of our athletes, like 1,000 to go. It's all downhill from there. So if you got anything, you got to let it rip. Was there any point in that race, given your setbacks that you've had over the last, 12 months or so, where you let any doubt creep in, or were you just really channeling positive thoughts throughout the whole thing?
Yeah, so actually right at the mile, I was like confused because I was like, I shouldn't be up here. These are all state champions and all of these like really big names, and I was just like, I was doubting myself a little bit because I saw my name on the board and I was like, wait, I'm second to cross at the mile marker. So yeah, I started doubting myself a little bit at the mile, but then I remembered that anything could happen. So then I just kind of pushed it from there and got the negative thoughts out of my head, and then I was just vibing after that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, you know, it's funny, you read your name on the board and you're like, I'm not supposed to be here. But, at the end of the day, like, you felt good. So you just kind of had to roll with it, right? And, set yourself up for success. So talk a little bit about your cross training. I watched an interview with you where you talked about doing a lot of cross training, kind of coming off of that injury. Were you, because this is kind of a very popular topic over the last few years, especially I feel like for female athletes that might struggle with some of the mileage. I've actually had a male athlete that couldn't run a lot of mileage, and he did a lot of cross training as well. So talk a little bit about how that looked. How long did you cross train only? And then how did you kind of build some mileage, running mileage into your schedule?
Yeah, so for cross training, I just did the elliptical. I went pretty hard on the ellipticals though. I broke 3 ellipticals.
Oh,
I
wow.
couldn't, I couldn't use the elliptical at my school anymore because that one's totaled. So yeah, but I was just cross training purely for 6 months. And then I was back. I started adding, like, I was running every other day, about 3 mile days in February, I think. So I had February, March, and a little bit of April when I was running like those short 3 mile runs. And then the IT band came back. So then that's when I was just cross training again because I had a huge limp and I couldn't walk right. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's excellent to hear how you didn't let all these, setbacks keep you down, right? Like you kept fighting. Talking about we talked a little bit about your junior year. You were, you know, one of the top girls in the whole region, not just your state, running nothing slower than 17:18. So even when you did come back, it had to be difficult not to kind of give up. But at the end of the day, you persevered, and then you run a spectacular time on what wasn't a great course weather-wise at RXC, right? Were you when you've heard about the course, I'm sure from other runners, and you've watched videos online, kind of going into it, did you think that was in the realm of possibilities, running 17:05? I mean, you probably could have broken 17 if you'd gone a little, earlier in the race when you were thinking, I shouldn't be up here.
Yeah, I didn't really think before it happened. I didn't think it was in the realm of things, to be honest, for this season. I kind of just counted myself out this season. To be honest, I almost actually dropped the race because I was lacking so low in confidence.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was struggling a little bit, so I almost dropped out. But then my dad told me, he said, "You know who you are, and you know you're better than what you think. We all have our struggles." So he pushed me to come, and he was right.
Yeah.
I'm grateful he had me go. But yeah, I really think I could have broken 17 if I just pushed a little harder. So
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the time doesn't matter. And kudos to your dad for pushing you and encouraging you to run, because that's crazy that you almost didn't run and then you end up being the winner of the whole thing. So that's a spectacular story. So Indiana University commit, you committed last spring, is that right? Or okay, excellent. And so what's got you most excited about the next step? I know we've got indoor, I know we've got outdoor, but what are you really looking forward to long term down the road in college?
For college, I definitely am gonna come out for a comeback season because of how bad this season was. I can't wait to get on the college stage and, kind of under the big lights a little bit and hopefully inspire some younger athletes to not give up and it's not too late to start. Um, and so, yeah, I'm just excited to go to college and show what I can do and get the hard workouts thrown at me and just be in a new place.
Yeah. No, Katie, I definitely think you're an inspiration. And just like I said, if for those watching this, if you haven't watched or seen any of the pictures of Katie's emotion at the finish line, you could tell she was just in pure shock. And then listening to this, she almost didn't run. So really great story. And you can follow her. I'm going to let you throw out your socials there for us.
Yeah, my Instagram is KatyZ Too Fast. It's a number two instead of letters. And then my TikTok is Speedy Like Turbo.
Yeah, so definitely check out Katie's socials there. But before I let you go, Katy, we're going to do a speed round. I'm going to ask a few quick questions, and you've got to rattle off the answers really quickly. All right? Are you a cat or a dog person?
Dog.
Favorite ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Mint chocolate chip. Favorite movie?
Minions.
Favorite Christmas movie?
The Grinch, the 2019 version.
All right. This is Katy Zang, everyone. Thank you again, Katy, so much for joining us. And stay tuned for what Katie's going to do. Well, let's ask, do you have an indoor season in Ohio?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit of how that looks. Sorry, I'm not going to let you go yet. And I'm going to edit out that last part. How does your indoor season look like in Ohio? Do you guys have like an official season, or is it?
Yeah, we have an official season. It's not hosted by the OHSAA though. It's hosted by like OACT something. But it's kind of club, but it's just basically schools with their club teams kind of.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. Do you ever race the 800?
I hate doing it, but sometimes I have to.
I understand. Yeah, I was looking at your mile split profile, and you definitely like the more aerobic stuff, the longer stuff. So, all right. Any big plans for outdoor season? What's your goals?
My outdoor goals are to make it to Nike Outdoor Nationals and probably run the 5K and hopefully get All-American.
All right. Excellent, Katy. Well, again, thanks so much for joining me, and we look forward to seeing what you do at the next stage.
Thanks for having me.